Alright, welcome back. So in this class we will learn how we can create tables using MySQL, right? So let's get started. Okay, my MySQL workbench is up and running, and make sure your XAMPP server is on, okay? And we will do each and everything from scratch. If I just close the tab and open the instance again, and there it is. If I just zoom the query bar, there it is. Now it looks good. Let's do each and everything from scratch, okay? And if I just say first, let me just create a database first. Create database, and the name of the database is shop. And if I just run, and yeah, we can still use the conditions. For example, create database if not exists, and run it. There it is. We got some green error message, success message, that means database has been created. If we just refresh our bar, there it is, database has been created. Now we will see how we can create table. It is similar. We can use the create command again, create table, and then the name of the table. In our case, it could be users, products, orders, and let's say for example we will create a table like members, and bear in your mind that should be plural, right? And this is the name of the table, which is member, and then we will define our columns and the operations on the column. For example, our first column is member ID, and then for example is full name, and then his date of, for example, his gender, and his date, his or her date of birth, right? Now these are the names of the column, but what about their data types, their other specifications? So we'll now first, when you define the name of the column, and after that we will define the specification. For example, it could be not null, right? And it could be first unsigned. Sorry about that. First we need to mention about the data type. What would be the data type for member ID? And if you guess it is integer, it would be integer, and the length would be 11, right? Integer 11, and then it would be not null. Now what is not null? In short, this is very simple, that column would not be null, so you must enter something that is required, in short, right? Not null. And then we have unsigned, it's optional. Unsigned, that means we cannot add negative values in it. And then finally we have auto increment, right? Auto increment, I'll try to explain it, but in our upcoming videos I'll try to explain it in depth. Auto increment means basically, if you put auto increment on member ID, you don't need to insert value in it. It will auto increment by 1. For example, when you add full name, gender, his date of birth, and it will automatically create an ID for it, right? And then finally another attribute that I still remember, which is primary key, right? Now what is primary key? Primary key, in short, which stops, it's kind of when you enter, for example, member ID, it would be unique, and it will stop duplicate, right? It will not make it duplicate. And then we will put comma at the end of the statement. And what about this error, which is underlined? Yeah, the position would be after, I think, data type. Okay, then now it looks good. Let me just zoom it out a little bit. That's okay now, right? What about the full name? It's data type. A data type would be varchar, and the length would be around 50, I think. Yeah, 50 would be better. You can make it, increase it or decrease it as you wish, but normally we will put 50. And you can put not null, that means it is not required, right? No, if you put null, that means this is not required. You can make it, you can even let it empty, and you don't need to put auto increments or unsigned on full name. Let it simple, right? And then comma separate. And then what about gender? Gender would be something like varchar, and I think we have male. This is 4 characters length, and if you just put female, this is I think around 6. Yes, so we'll put 6 here, right? So gender varchar length would be 6, and then yeah, it could be null. And then finally date of birth. Guess what would be the data type? Yeah, it is date, right? And date, we will not open parenthesis for it. It is not a function, so we will not put some specific length for it, so we'll let it like that, right? And yeah, this is a very simple table, and we will put semicolon at the end. Okay, one thing I want to mention is you should put a line. For example, if I just say use, now it could be possible MySQL get confused where this table is going to create. So we will use a line at the top that we want to use that database. For example, if I just say use shop, now it will use shop. Now it will go to shop database and then create this table, right? And let's just run our query, and if I just press and run, there it is. Successfully the table has been created. And if I just refresh our panel, and yeah, you can see we have a table of members, and it contains few columns, foreign keys. It do not have, I think, foreign key triggers that we will discuss in our next series, but for now it has columns: member ID, full name, gender, and date of birth, right? Okay, if you just remove all the lines, and if I just say again use shop, and no, for example, if I just say show databases and semicolon, and if I just run this, you can see we have few databases. And if I just say, for example, let me just hide this, and if I just say use shop and then show me tables, right? Show me tables. And if I just run this, now you can see we have only one table, that is members, right? And we can even in our next series we can even write a query to show its column, right? That's basically, for example, select everything. We will learn this query in depth in our next series, but for now I'm just for testing purpose, select all from shop and run this query. What it does is show all the columns. Basically now we do not have any data, so yeah, there's problem that is not running the query. Basically the saying the shop does not, yep, sorry, this is our database name shop, and select everything from, not, we are just calling the database, so that would be wrong and error, that we get conflict here. So we will put the table name here, members, and run this query again. There it is. It shows the rows, the member ID, full name, gender, and yeah, we will learn how we can fill them, how we can add data in them, right? So see you in our next series.